Welcome back, everyone. It's Caleb, and we're going to be doing some measuring and giving you dimensions of the 2026 Buick Enclave Preferred. So this is the preferred trim level in a gorgeous blue. There's nothing to do with the dimensions. I've got my little sheet here so I can read it off and tell you exactly what it is, so you have everything in one video. And then I've got a tape measure, so I'm going to be showing you some additional dimensions as well, so you don't have to essentially guess or do it yourself. So let's hop right in. So we're going to go ahead, hop in to the Enclave, pull it out so I can get you a good walk around of the vehicle. So we're going to hop in here, and yes, I've got my sheet with me. Here we are with the Enclave. I'm going to be going over it in terms of inches and centimeters, if I've got this measurement right. Now, we've got a wheelbase. We're going to be starting at 120.93 inches from this wheel down to the back of this wheel. And that is ratings from General Motors. You can kind of see it there in the paper, and I'll try and edit it on screen as well. So it's 120.93 inches, or 3,072 centimeters if you need that measurement. Now we have overall length from the back of the Enclave here all the way up to the front of the nose at 207.60 inches. So if you're putting it in your garage, make sure it's over essentially 208 inches, and then you're at 5,273 centimeters. Go ahead and round up to whatever the next full inch would be. I would say 5,300 centimeters, you'd be fine. We have body width, and that is without the mirrors. So from the furthest side out, which is kind of this front fender, but also the door handles, all the way over here to the other side, where you can see there, we're talking 79.60 inches, or 2,022 centimeters. So then we're going with body width with the mirrors. So adding the mirrors in, which gives you a little bit of extra width on both sides, that brings it up a little over 8 inches, or around 8 inches. That's going to be 87.87 inches from this mirror to the other mirror over here, or that is 2,232 centimeters. Overall height, so that is from the ground to the roof with these roof bars, essentially, we're at 70.98 inches, or 1,803 centimeters. So when you're putting in your garage, you're trying to make sure everything is measured right. You're doing your research before you go to the dealership, so you don't have to take it home because you live an hour away. Whatever the case might be, those are your measurements so that you can ensure that it fits in the garage. I do say make sure you have a couple of inches on each side, more than the mirrors. If you have a tight garage, like if it's a one-car garage. Now, if you have a two-car, you will be fine, except for the mirrors. Always do check the mirrors. I took a Sierra home, and it didn't fit in the garage, so always do be sure. And I even folded the mirrors in. I've just got a small garage. Now, front track width, that is from the wheel to wheel. You're at 67.28 inches, or 1,709 centimeters. Rear track width is a slightly less, and you're at 67.05 inches, or 1,703 centimeters. Now, as we move in to the cabin of the vehicle, I chose one with a lighter interior so that we can see it, but I will be making a video on the Sport Touring as well. It's not any different, but I do want to make sure that's easily searchable. So that one has a dark interior, but with this light interior, you can see everything. So headroom, that's going up, and this one doesn't have a sunroof. So without the sunroof, you're at 42.60 inches because it curves a little bit better than with the sunroof, or that is 1,082 centimeters. With the sunroof, so if you get the sunroof, even though it gives you a little bit extra gap, it does lower the roof on the side. We're at 41.18 inches, or 1,046 centimeters. Now, as we move to the second row, let's go ahead and hop back here. As you can see, we have our headroom in the second row. It is a little bit different because the vents and stuff do come through, but you're at 39.96 inches, or 1,015 centimeters, with a headroom with a sunroof at 38.19 or 970 centimeters. Sunroofs are always going to give you a little bit less headroom, even though it does open it up in the middle. Because of how it's shaped, it does bring it down a little bit. Not by much, but enough to make a difference. Now, as we move to our third row. Third row has been the same on the Enclave for quite some time, at least since 2019, to my knowledge. With headroom in the third row, because without the sunroof, you don't get too much of a shape, but you do get a little bit of a shape in there. You have 38.27 inches or 972 millimeters. So with the sunroof, the third row is the only row that gets more headspace. And check out my Enclave videos so that you can see that, because the Enclaves have it as standard. You go up to 38.54 inches, so not by much, but 979 centimeters. So it actually feels like a bit more, even though it's not much. So the next one is going to be shoulder room, and that is going to be for the first row. So as we come up here back to the front, shoulder room. Now, I don't know exactly where GM's getting these measurements from, because it can be all relative. Now, we're going to say roughly from probably the entire seat is what I'm going to get at with General Motors first row. So we're at 62.17 or inches or 1,579 centimeters. So that is from shoulder to shoulder. You can see there without touching your partner, presuming that is the accurate information there for you. Now, this is all accurate information, but in terms of where they're getting the measurements from. Second row shoulder, you have slightly less, not by much, 62.13 inches or 1,078 centimeters. So literally 1 centimeter less, even though this does look a little bit wider. I feel like the seat's a little bit different. Now, once again, hopping back into the third row, for comfortability's sake, if you're going to load this up for shoulder room here in the third row, obviously you can see that it is a little bit smaller as the body kind of caves in. You're at 57.76 inches or 1,467 centimeters. And that is because of the wheels and the fact that you're fitting 3 people here in the back. So drastically, right around 4 to 5 inches less per person, it looks like. Now, let's go ahead, move back up to the front. I just want you to be able to see everything. I'll go ahead and hop over to the other side. There's just cars running and driving around and everything. So moving back over here, with the hip room, I presume once again with the seat width, we're at 58.70 inches or 1,491 centimeters. So you can see that there. And it is quite wide, a little cushy. You can feel it. Now moving to the back, once again, slightly less, but not by much. Your second row hip room right here is 58.46 inches or 1,485 centimeters. Now, another thing, and I'm going to be measuring this as well, is the seat gap is small right there. But once again, I'll get into that here in a minute. Now, moving on to our third row, as when you have kids, it can be very, very important. You're at 48.54 inches or 1,233 centimeters. That is a conjoined amount of because of the wheelbase and because of the fact that you have 3 people here in the back. Now, leg room for the maximum on the front here, and that is with the seats all the way back. Once again, I still don't think it's all the way back right here, but that is another measurement I'm going to be measuring from point to point. And you're at 44.29 inches or 1,125 centimeters. For the second row, it doesn't say anything maximum, but roughly for the second row, you have 41.46 inches or 1,053 centimeters. Once again, heading back into our third row here. If you have taller kids, maybe not the place to put them, but definitely in the second row is the place. You have leg room as far as 32.13 inches or 816 centimeters. Now, moving over to ground clearance. Now, this is on the front. They don't really cover in the back from General Motors, but your ground clearance on the front is 6.77 inches or 172 centimeters. Now, my piece of paper here is not 6 inches, but you can see there, basically it's more just like coming around there before you start hitting any main components up in the front. As you can see underneath, we've got a couple things that do drop down a little bit. Lift in height, from my comprehension of that, I'm thinking it's from hopping into the vehicle like this. We're at 30.71 inches, just hopping up from in and out, sitting into this seat here. So those are the measurements that are provided by General Motors. And then I'll be tying in here in just a second. I'm gonna go check with this customer over here what the measurements are with a tape measure that we've got here. So after I got done taking care of Mr. Customer there, he actually wanted to look at the Enclaves as well. Now, just kind of show you on screen, here's everything right here. You can, if I can get it to focus, there we go. You can zoom in on it if you need or pause the video, but I will try to put things up. So I'm gonna set that down for a moment, and I've got the good old Craftsman tape measure. It's not mine, but kind of show you everything. This will be a little difficult, I think, with one hand, but we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna move this seat all the way forward so I can show you here. Keep on going, keep on going. It goes up quite a bit. So I'm gonna hop in here, and I think my knees are gonna hit. Yeah. So I have very little room here, but you can tell it comes up pretty good. So to see right here, and this is touching on the glove box, you got it right under, well, right around 3.5 inches. And I am about 5'8", my knees are hitting. Now, if you need to have a lot of space in the back, it's not awful. It's actually kind of comfortable, really. And even, I'm gonna lower it, so I've got more space. So let's see here, lowering a lot. So that was pretty high up. So I'm gonna go ahead and move it forward. That is actually as much as you can move it forward. So with it up, you get about 3.5 inches. If you move it down, you're about 7 inches different. So you have a lot of space. Now, if you want to be able to see over the dash more, see it over better, you can raise it up and still have a decent amount of room. Now, since I have this all the way forward, and it's gonna be the same for the driver, let's go ahead and move here to the back. So as you can see, there is an enormous amount of space. This is with the seat all the way forward, with that seat all the way forward as well. And let me move this tape measure out just a little bit more so we can see here. And this is, once again, just sitting it on the seat and pushing it up against the other seat. You're right around 11 inches of room with this seat all the way forward and this one all the way forward as well. So we're gonna move it back. There we go. So as you can tell, we've opened space up quite a bit. From 11 inches to now we're right under 16.5, or right over 16.5 inches from all the way forward to all the way back. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna keep this back. We're gonna move this seat all the way back, so that's just gonna take a second. Give me one moment. So now that I got it all the way back, it didn't take but just a second. This seat is all the way back as well. Both seats all the way back. We're still right around 7 to 7.5 inches. And to move it forward, you've got no space here at a whopping little over 2 inches, like 2/8. I'm gonna just show you, I'm not gonna be able to get in here. That's not happening. I can barely fit my leg in there. So that's just if you're trying to maximize space and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this seat forward so I can move that one. So give me one moment. Sorry for all the loud noises going on out here. Now that I've moved this seat forward a little bit, I'm gonna set our nice little tape measure over there. We're gonna move this seat back and stick our good old tape measure back here and extend it a bit. So there we go. Perfect. I'm gonna hop over here. So we've got the tape measure in and move the seat back. So you can see here, let's see, make sure this seat is moved all the way forward. So all the way forward with the second row seat, because you can't move the third row. As far as space, all the way forward, you're at a little over 10 inches. So let's go ahead and move it all the way back. And this will pretty much wrap up this video here. So that's all the way back. You still have right under 6 inches of space. So I'm gonna get back here and try and fit. Now, I fit. Am I the most comfortable? No. Actually, my knees are very warm. So you do have something to rest on, but you're gonna have to be sitting up the entire time. If you're here in the back, I'm gonna go ahead and release that. But you do have to stick your feet together to get underneath. Once again, I'm about 5'8", so if you're, I would say, any taller than 5'10", you'd be quite uncomfortable back here. Even after 5'8", I think you'd be uncomfortable. Now, moving up to the second row and even the first row, if you're over 6 foot, you're going to be quite comfortable in here in terms of space and even headroom. You still have quite a bit. Like for me to sit here, I've still got almost an entire hand. I don't know if you can see my hand there, but let's see. Hang on here. Let me do a tape measure so you can see kind of. Hopefully you can see that. But that is your difference here. Now you still have quite a bit of room. So if you're concerned for being able to fit in the first or second row, no concern needed. If you're more concerned for fitting in the third row, if you're over 5'8", 5'9", even 5'10", I could say as far as push it, do some math, checking it out. I would personally get in the vehicle if you've gotten this far in your research. And I know this is a bit longer of a video, and I'm going to make it for the other two trim levels as well, because with the sunroof, it is a little bit different. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hop in, park this baby back. I do want to say thank y'all again for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I just want to make sure you can get this information, as it's not the easiest to find in one place. I had to do a little bit of research to find what I was looking for. There we go. Now we're in reverse. Once again, always being careful when you're parking. But it doesn't matter really what size you are unless you're like 7 foot. Go buy a truck if you're 7 foot tall. In my opinion, or a Yukon, something of that caliber. But overall, the Enclave is amazing. This is just going towards the playlist of plethora of videos that I have and I'm continuing to make. So if you have any questions, recommendations, what you'd like to see, let me know. Other than that, I'll see y'all on the next video.